I've seen retirees with 2.5 million do everything right and still get blindsided in retirement. Here's why. Having 2.5 million saved for retirement should mean ultimate freedom, right? But here's what most people don't realize. Many of the self-made 401k and IRA millionaires discover that a massive pre-tax retirement account created expensive problems they never saw coming. Hi, I'm Megan Ramshaw, CFP. Over the last decade, I've had deep conversations with hundreds of retirees who built impressive nest eggs, and I've noticed a pattern. The same 5 regrets keep coming up, especially from those with 2 to 3 million in retirement savings. These aren't complaints about not having enough money. They're regrets about strategic decisions they wish they'd made differently in their 50s and early 60s. In today's video, I'm sharing the 5 most common regrets from retirees with substantial portfolios straight from real experiences. If you're within 10 years of retirement and you've built a healthy IRA or 401k, this video could save you from some very expensive and emotional mistakes. The first regret I hear most often is this: I wish I had diversified my tax buckets decades ago instead of putting everything into my 401k. Let's walk through a common scenario. Imagine a hypothetical couple who diligently maxed out their 401k contributions for 30 years. Their advisor told them to defer. By age 65, they've accumulated $3 million, all sitting in pre-tax accounts. Sounds like success, right? But here's what they didn't plan for. When they start taking withdrawals, every single dollar comes out as ordinary income, taxed at their full marginal rate. According to the IRS, required minimum distributions begin at age 73 or 75, calculated by dividing your account balance by a life expectancy factor. For someone with a $5 million IRA at age 75, that RMD is roughly $203,000 per year, all taxable as ordinary income. This creates a cascade of tax surprises Uncle Sam doesn't warn you about. First, up to 85% of their Social Security benefits become taxable because their provisional income exceeds $44,000 for married couples filing jointly. Second, they get hit with IRMAA surcharges on Medicare premiums. Back in 2007, the third IRMAA bracket surcharge for Medicare Part B was $126 per month. In 2026, that same bracket will cost you $527 per month. And according to Medicare's own trustees, that number is projected to rise to $782 per month by 2032 and $902 by 2034. These are real costs that come on top of your regular premiums, just for crossing an income threshold you could have planned around. Then there's the surviving spouse penalty. When one spouse passes, the survivor shifts from married filing jointly to single filer status. That same $203,000 RMD that was taxed in the 22% bracket as a married couple now pushes the surviving spouse into the 24% bracket because single filer thresholds are roughly half of joint filer thresholds. Regret? I wish I had worked with an advisor who gave me advice outside just investments. I wish someone had told me to fund Roth accounts earlier or build up my after-tax brokerage account so I'd have flexibility. The second regret is deeply tied to behavioral finance. I wish I had spent more in my go-go years. Research from the Center for Retirement Research shows the average retired household cuts spending by about 1.5% every year throughout retirement. But here's the problem. Many wealthy retirees don't spend down assets because they're too conservative, even when the numbers clearly show they can afford it. According to the LIMRA research, 42% of retirees with $2 million or more spend less than $100,000 per year. That's only a 4% to 5% withdrawal rate on a $2 million portfolio, and it's even more conservative for those with $5 million. Only 7% of retirees actually plan to spend down their savings. The rest aim to maintain or even grow their assets. This is a classic case of loss aversion. After decades of accumulating wealth, it feels psychologically painful to start drawing down that principal, even though that's exactly what it's there for. Here's what I often see. A couple retires at 62 with $2.5 million. They're healthy, active, and ready to travel. But they're afraid to spend because their pie chart manager keeps reminding them about sequence of returns risk and market volatility. So they live on Social Security and maybe pull $80,000 a year from their portfolio when they could comfortably spend $150,000 in their go-go years, and apply guardrails if any adjustments up and down. Fast forward to age 75. Their health has declined. International travel is harder. That Alaskan cruise they postponed, now they can't physically do it. The regret isn't running out of money. It's not using the money when it would have brought the most joy. The solution? Use a guardrails approach that increases spending when portfolio returns are strong early in retirement. Model those dream trips and big expenses in your retirement plan to see the actual impact. Most of the time, you'll find your plan barely notices the difference. Regret number 3 might surprise you. I wish I hadn't waited until age 70 to claim Social Security. Now, I know the conventional wisdom: delay Social Security to maximize your lifetime benefit. But here's the problem. With that advice for someone with a $3 million portfolio, it forces you to live entirely off portfolio withdrawals during your most active retirement years. Let's walk through a hypothetical scenario. A couple delays Social Security until 70 to get that 8% annual increase. Meanwhile, from age 62 to 70, they're pulling $150,000 per year gross from their $3 million IRA to cover expenses. That's $1.2 million in withdrawals, all taxed as ordinary income, plus the portfolio growth they're missing on that $1.2 million. Now consider the alternative. They claim Social Security at 62, receiving a combined $50,000 per year. And now they only need to pull $100,000 from their portfolio. They're living on guaranteed income while letting that $3 million continue compounding. This approach works if you are comfortable shifting the risk to your nest egg over the long term. A Vanguard study found that for certain retirees, especially those with substantial assets, claiming Social Security early actually preserves more wealth over time because it creates a financial buffer during the vulnerable early retirement years. The key is to look at your complete picture, not just maximize one piece of the puzzle. Regret number 4 is one I hear with real frustration. I wish I hadn't stayed with my pie chart manager for so long. I missed out on some really valuable planning opportunities in my 50s and early 60s. Here's what they mean. Many advisors focus exclusively on asset allocation, diversification, and risk tolerance. They'll rebalance your portfolio, sure, but they're not thinking about comprehensive tax planning. But if your advisor is only focused on growing your account balance and managing your risk tolerance, they're not looking at this opportunity. They're ignoring Uncle Sam, your favorite uncle. The regret? I missed out on really good market timing Roth conversions and planning decisions because my advisor was just a portfolio manager, not a comprehensive planner. Looking back, we missed some major tax planning windows, especially in those 5 to 10 years before retirement. We didn't fully take advantage of our tax brackets, and while we've always been disciplined investors who don't react emotionally to headlines or market drops, I wish we had known about strategic Roth conversions during down markets. Think about it. If we had acted during the COVID market crash, the 2022 inflation-driven sell-off, or even the tariff-driven pullback in 2025, we could have moved a meaningful chunk of pre-tax dollars into our Roth accounts at a discount. Today, we'd have higher Roth balances, lower future RMDs, and less of our retirement tied to Uncle Sam. It's not just about the conversion. It's about the timing. I wish we could go back and make those moves because the compounding impact over the next 20 to 30 years would have been massive. The 5th and final regret might be the most financially devastating. We never planned for what would happen when one of us passed away. Here's the brutal math. A married couple with a $5 million pre-tax IRA is taking RMDs of roughly $200,000 at age 75. As a married couple filing jointly, much of that income stays in the 22% federal bracket. They're managing. Then one spouse passes away. The surviving spouse inherits that entire $5 million IRA. The RMDs don't change. They're still $200,000 per year, but now the surviving spouse files as a single filer. The same income that was taxed at 22% is now taxed at 24%. Plus, the surviving spouse loses half the standard deduction. That's an immediate increase in taxable income. And don't forget about IRMAA. Let's say a surviving spouse ends up with a $200,000 RMD and $40,000 in Social Security. That puts them in one of the top IRMAA brackets, triggering an extra $446.30 per month for Medicare Part B and $83.30 for Part D. And that's on top of the base premium of $202.90. Altogether, that's more than $6,300 per year in just additional Medicare premiums. Not for better care, just for crossing an income line. This is why tax planning isn't optional if you've saved well. It's not just about income taxes, it's about the ripple effects across your entire retirement picture. The surviving spouse penalty is completely avoidable with proper planning. Roth conversions during both spouses' lifetimes, strategic IRA withdrawals before RMDs, building up after-tax brokerage accounts. These strategies smooth out the tax impact and protect the surviving spouse. If you recognize yourself in any of these 5 regrets, here's the good news. It's not too late to make changes. Whether you're 50, 55, or even 65, you can still implement strategies to reduce your taxes, increase your spendable income, and protect your surviving spouse. If you're tired of working with a pie chart manager who only talks about diversification and risk tolerance, and you want a comprehensive planning that actually reduces your lifetime tax bill, click the link in the description to get started now and see if we're a fit. You've worked too hard to let Uncle Sam take more than necessary. Thank you.